Would you like to tell us about your organization and your role at it?
So we are here as partners of X1 GmbH.
Okay.
X1 GmbH is a 3D printing machine manufacturer based out of Germany. Global Access is exclusive partner of X1 GmbH for the last 11 years in
Yeah.
India, and we are in the business of selling, servicing, maintaining 3D printers.
3D printers.
Yeah, 3D
Okay.
printers for foundry and for industrial applications.
Okay.
Primarily, we make these 3D printers for foundry applications. There are sand printers for printing sand cores and molds,
Okay.
and there are metal printers which are used for making parts directly from the metal powder.
Okay.
So this process is additive manufacturing, which is primarily you take a CAD data and then you can directly make the parts without getting into tooling or any such extra requirements.
Okay.
So world over, additive manufacturing is something which is catching up because you can print parts which you cannot manufacture easily in conventional processes.
So, you are a manufacturing unit?
Yeah, we are a manufacturing unit as
Okay.
well. So primarily in India, we are into automotive,
Okay.
automotive sector, and also in aerospace sector
Okay.
with 3D printing. In railways, this is our first entry,
Okay.
wherein we believe that with this massive expansion of railways happening in
Yeah.
India,
Yeah. Yeah.
that we could probably play a certain role
Yeah.
which is meaningful, and we could bring the additive manufacturing technology to the railways.
What opinion do you have about innovation in technology that can create a global space of India in the global market?
So India is growing, at a very fast pace. Innovation is growing here. New companies are coming. There is a lot of excitement about using technology.
Yeah.
So that aspect of India is really catching up now.
Yeah.
I was recently in Germany about 2 weeks back,
Okay.
in one of the largest foundry shows in the world,
Okay.
where I saw so many Indian companies, now stepping up to use of technology. So India has everything. India has talent. It has people. It has engineering. Technology is coming now. So I think we are really entering the
Yeah.
the so-called Amrit Kal, what we are
Yeah.
always
Yeah.
talking
Yeah.
about, of the Indian
Okay.
period.
Yeah. Thank you. So, my next question to you is, Rail Analysis is committed to the development and progress of Indian economy by becoming a strong platform for knowledge and business and exchange of ideas. How can events like these RMT Conclave empower and make a difference on your organization?
Oh, absolutely. See, any organization will only thrive by networking. Okay, and also with technology. You can have technology, but if you don't tell about the technology to the world,
Yeah.
or if you don't interact with the people, then I don't think you will be able to influence the
Yeah.
industry. So yeah, these events are very helpful to us, in my opinion, and that's why this is our first participation in it. But yes, we think it's a good show.
Okay, okay. All right. So, since you are also manufacturing and you just mentioned that, what are the measures would you like to suggest for the exports of your product in Indian market or
Okay.
the global market?
A couple of things. We in India need at least the government should wake up to the MSMEs who are wanting to make it on a bigger scale here. So there is a PLI, product linked incentive PLI scheme is
Yeah,
there.
yeah, yeah. PLI scheme.
But at the same time, the government can also look at various methodologies to reduce the input costs,
Input cost.
for the industry. It could be raw material, it could be overheads, it could be subsidies,
Yeah,
which like our one of our neighbors is doing for their MSMEs.
yeah.
So there are so many factors that the government can look at, um, provided that those are used effectively by the industrial players also.
Yeah. Okay. So, so since you did said that government can do this and that, this PLI scheme you mentioned. So, would you like to share that what are the policy reforms can government bring in your opinion, so that it is a win-win situation for both the public and the private sector?
It depends on the sector, sector by sector. For example, if it's a I give you just one example. If it's an aluminium sector, for example, then the government can look at the duties which which are levied on the primary aluminium.
Okay.
And there is a very high duty factor. What happens when you have the duty? The domestic players can also utilize that duty
Yeah.
for domestic prices.
Yeah. Yeah.
So Indian MSMEs are buying at the import parity prices and things like that. So government will look at tariffs. Number one. Number two, we have a huge uh, issue coming up with carbon, border adjustment taxes, which are going to
Yeah.
come up
Yeah.
in the next 2 3 years.
Yeah.
There will be quite uh, a, a thing which is going to happen with the carbon border adjustment taxes, which are going to come from EU and the US, because of the green factor which is now coming up in the world. So I think there are so many things which we have to look at on a macro level to encourage the small industries and the MSMEs, which are ancillary units, which could become the MSMEs to become ancillary units to feed into the bigger OEs, if I may say so. So one is a tariff structure
Yeah,
that the government
tariffs.
can look at. Number two is it could also look at how to factor in the export from India in their FTA discussions, which the government is already doing with so many countries now. So that the market access to those countries can be
Okay.
done
Yeah. Yeah.
by the sectors.
Okay. So I guess you can also answer me about the startups in India.
Yeah.
So how can startups in India transform, the ecosystem of supply chain? And will you be able to answer in the context of railway and metro?
Not in the context of railway,
Okay.
because it's just the first
Okay. Okay.
interaction that we are
Okay.
getting
In
into
general,
railways.
you can answer.
But in general, I would say the startups are so important because they bring in new technologies, they bring in new energy,
Yeah.
they bring in new concepts, if you will. So, I mean, we all have seen the revolution in the food delivery sector, for
Yeah.
example.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, or even in the case of radio taxis, for example. So, startups are critical for a country like India, especially we are the most populous country in the world.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
So
from
yeah.
that perspective, the impact will
I
be
get it.
huge,
Yeah.
by the startups.
All right. So, thank you for these questions, for the answers. Would you like to close the talk with a feedback about our event?
The
Is it
feedback
is it
no,
useful
it's a
to
good
you?
show. It's a very good show. I like it,
Yeah.
right now.
Okay.
The speakers, the topics, and everything is very interesting.
Yeah. We hope that we are able to add some value to your
Yeah, there is
business.
some. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
It's a learning for us. And I think let's see how it goes from here from there.